Okay, section 2.3, synthetic division. Worksheet 1. Now, whenever I do this lesson today, I'm going to be doing some examples from your worksheet as my examples in class. So make sure you're looking at your homework and checking to see which problems I've already done for you. Okay, synthetic division is a shortcut for long division and can be used when dividing by x minus k. It's a shortcut for long division. Okay, that's super important. But you can only use it whenever you're dividing by x minus k, so it has to be just dividing by x to the first, okay? So you are dividing by degree 1. The factor theorem. If f of k equals 0, then f of x is a factor of x minus k. Meaning, when I do division of this, my remainder has to be 0. If the last number is equal to 0, then that means it's a factor. Okay? Divide by long division. So if we divide this by long division, what that means is x minus 5 goes on the outside, and then 3x cubed minus 17x squared plus 15x minus 25 goes on the inside. Okay? Now, what do I multiply x by to get 3x cubed? I multiply by a 3x squared. So 3x squared times x is 3x cubed. 3x squared times negative 5 is negative 15x squared. Then, remember, we changed the signs and we added straight down. So that's negative 2x squared, and I dropped down the other polynomial. Now, what do I multiply x by to obtain a negative 2x squared? That's going to be minus 2x. Minus 2x times x is minus 2x squared. Minus 2x times negative 5 is going to be 10x. And again, you are going to distribute a negative and add straight down to give me 5x minus 25. Then, what do I multiply x by to get a 5x? I'm going to multiply by 5. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 5 is negative 25. And we go ahead and change those signs and add straight down, and I have 0. What this means is x minus 5 is going to be a factor of 3x cubed minus 17x squared plus 15x minus 25. And that factor, this is what's going to be remaining, okay? Now, we can do the same exact problem by long division or by synthetic division. So how do we do that? The very first thing we're going to do is set this thing equal to 0 and solve it. We're going to make a half box. 5 is what goes in the half box. Then we are only going to take the coefficients of all of these numbers. We are not going to take any of the variables. So I have a 3, a negative 17, a 15, and a negative 25. And I draw a line. The very first thing we do is we drop down the 3. Then we multiply on the diagonal to give me 15 and add straight down. Multiply on the diagonal to give me negative 10 and add straight down. Multiply on the diagonal, give me 25 and add straight down. That gives me 0. This number is your remainder. This drops down 1 degree. It was degree 3, so now this is going to be degree 2. So this is going to be 3x squared minus 2x plus 5. And if you look, you'll notice these numbers match every time. And that's why we get the same exact answer. Done a heck of a lot faster and much more fun, right? So that is how you're going to do problems 1 through 4, okay? That is how you're going to do problems 1 through 4. So let's go ahead and do number 2. Number 2, I'm going to go ahead and take this x plus 2 is equal to 0, and I'm going to subtract the 2 over, so x is equal to negative 2. Negative 2 goes in the half box. Now, you are going to look for missing powers. I have a degree of 3, so this is 5x cubed, 0x squared, 6x plus 8. So 3, 2, 1, 0. I'm not missing any more powers, and I draw a line. I drop down the 5, I multiply on the diagonal, I add straight down. Multiply on the diagonal, add straight down. Multiply on the diagonal, I'm going to get negative 52. That's going to give me a negative 44. Okay? What this means is is that this drops this down an entire degree. It was degree 3, now it's degree 2. So this is going to be 5x squared minus 10x plus 26. This number is my remainder plus negative 44, and I'm going to put that over my divisor of x plus 2. That is your answer. Okay? So again, you are going to do problems 3 and 4 just like that. They both have remainders, and they are going to look very similar to this one right here. Okay? Next, divide 4x cubed plus 16x squared minus 23x minus 16. Divide that by x plus 1/2. Write the function in the form of f of x equals x minus k times q of x plus r of x. This right here, sorry, that was a mistake. This right here represents the x minus k, okay? So we're going to take x plus 1/2 and we're going to set that equal to 0, so x is equal to negative 1/2. Negative 1/2 goes inside the box. Now, we're going to go here, we're going to look for missing powers. 3, 2, 1, 0. We're not missing anything, so I can go straight to bringing those down. 4, 16, negative 23, negative 16. Leave some space. Drop down the 4. Half of 4 is going to give me a negative 2. Plus 16 gives me a 14. Half of 14 is going to give me a negative 7. That gives me a negative 30. Half of negative 30 is going to be positive 15 to give me negative 1. Negative 1 is my remainder, which means I have to write it like this. This is how I have to write it. So that's going to give me an x plus 1/2, which is what I divided by. This drops it down to degree 2. So that's going to give me a 4x squared plus 14x minus 30. And then I'm going to add the remainder. And that is it. Okay? This is number 6 off of tonight's homework I'm going to do with you. So number 6, they tell you what k is. So that is what is going to go in the box. Negative 2/3 goes in the box. Which means x is equal to negative 2/3, which means if you bring this back over, that's what you're actually dividing by. That's what is going to go right here. Okay? So let's count my powers. 4, 3, 2. I'm missing a 1, and then there's a 0. So that means I need to go ahead and have 15, 10, negative 6, 0 for my placeholder, and then 14. Yes? Okay? So the very first thing we're going to do is drop down the 15. Help yourselves out. Now listen to what I'm going to say. I'm going to take 15 and divide it by 3, which gives me 5, and multiply it by negative 2, and that's going to give me negative 10. Add straight down, that gives me 0. You can use a calculator for this without a shadow of a doubt, and you'll be fine. 0 times anything is 0 to give you negative 6. Now again, negative 6 divided by 3 is going to be negative 2, times negative 2 is going to be 4. And then this is going to give you 4 times 2 is negative 8/3. And if you go ahead and put this in the calculator, 14 minus 8/3, it's going to give you 34/3. Okay? So this is going to be 34/3. Okay? So now, how do I write this? I have to write this as factors. So that's going to be x plus 2/3. This is now a degree down from 4, which is a 3. So now this is a 15. Add the variable back in, x cubed. 0, x squared, don't need it. Minus 6x plus 4 plus 34/3. And then that is done. Okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and do number 7 for you as well, because number 7 Do you see this? Oh boy. We have an irrational number there, but it has a real and an irrational part to it, a rational and irrational part to it. So sometimes it makes it a little bit more harder for people to do. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put 2 plus the square root of 2 there. We're going to count 3, 2, 1, 0. I'm not missing any. So negative 3, leave space. 8, leave more space, and leave more space. Why am I telling you to leave more space? Because we have a rational and an irrational part of our number, so we need to make sure that we have calculations where we're adding up our like terms appropriately. So we're going to go ahead and drop down the negative 3. Now, I'm going to show you the calculation part of this because I think that you need to see it. So I put an extra piece of paper over here for scratch paper for you. Because what you're going to do is take negative 3 times 2 plus the square root of 2 to give you negative 6 minus 3 square roots of 2. That's what's going to go right here. Then you are going to add the like terms together to give you 2 minus 3 square roots of 2. Okay? So now I have to multiply 2 plus the square root of 2 times 2 minus 3 square roots of 2. So if I FOIL, this gives me 4 minus 6 square roots of 2 plus 2 square roots of 2 minus 3 times 2. Why is it 2? Because the square root of 2 times the square root of 2. These two multiplied together give you the square root of 4, which is 2. Okay? Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to have 4 minus 4 square roots of 2 minus 6. 4 minus 6 is going to be negative 2 minus 4 square roots of 2. That's what has to go right here. So that's negative 2 minus 4 square roots of 2. Negative 2 and 10 gives me an 8 minus 4 square roots of 2. So now I got to do it again. So that's going to be 2 plus the square root of 2 times 8 minus 4 square roots of 2. So that's 16 minus 8 square roots of 2 plus 8 square roots of 2 minus 4 times 2. Well, 4 times 2 is going to be minus 8. So I have 16 minus 8, which is 8, and then those cancel out, so this gives me an 8. And my remainder is 0. So how do I write this? Well, the way I'm going to write this is my brain needs to first understand that this is going to be a degree of 2. And I have to bring over this 2 by subtracting and bring over this 2 by square root of 2 by subtracting, and that equals 0. So what goes in my parenthesis is x minus 2 minus the square root of 2. That's the first parenthesis. The second parenthesis is going to be negative 3x squared plus 2 minus 3 square roots of 2x minus or plus 8 minus 4 square roots of 2. And then that is done because there is no remainder. So I'm sure you know why I did that problem for you. You do have one more like that, which is going to be number 8. So you need to make sure you focus on number 8. Number 5 is super easy and it's nice. So 5 is easy. 6 and 7 I did for you, and number 8 is a little nasty as well. Okay? Let's keep going. Now, this says q of x equals 2x to the 4th minus x cubed plus 2x minus 1. I want to know what q at 3 is. Well, previously you would do this. 3 to the 4th minus 3 cubed plus 2 times 3 minus 1. So this is 2 to the 81st minus 27 plus 6 minus 1. This is going to be 162 minus 27 plus 6 minus 1 to give you the grand answer of... I don't want to add all that in my head. Sorry, guys. 140. So, normally that's what you would do. You would simply multiply those, do the calculation, this is what you get. Now, this theorem, the remainder theorem, if a polynomial f of x is divided by x minus k, the remainder is r equals f of k. Meaning, if I do synthetic division at 3, my remainder should be 140. Let's try it. If I do synthetic division at 3, my remainder should be 140. So this is 2x to the fourth minus 1x cubed, 0x squared, 2x minus 1. Okay, so drop down the 2. 2 times 3 is 6, plus the negative 1 gives me a 5, times 3 gives me 15. Drop down the 15, times 3 gives you 45, plus 2 gives you 47, times 3 gives me a 21, 141 to give me 140, which means Q at 3 is 140. So you can plug and chug and get 140, or you can do synthetic division and grab the remainder, and that's the same thing. What does that mean? Well, if you're doing tonight's homework on number 9, it says use synthetic division to find each function value and check on the graphing calculator by doing f of k equals r. So I want to know what f at negative 2 is. So that's 1x to the 6th, 0x to the 5th, minus 4x to the 4th, 3x squared, 0x, and 2 to the 1st. So I'm going to check this. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ruh-roh. We have a mistake, right? What do I mean by that? My powers are not matching up. So what do I want you guys to do whenever that happens? Go ahead and rewrite this. X to the 6th plus 0, x to the 5th minus 4x to the 4th plus 0x cubed plus 3x squared plus 0x plus 2. So, okay, so what this means is we're going to have a 1, a 0, a negative 4, a 0, a 3, a 0, and a 2. So now 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I didn't miss any this time. Super important that you make sure you don't miss any, okay? Drop down the 1. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. 0, negative 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. That gives you a 0. 0 times anything is 0. 0 times negative 2 is 0. That gives me a 3. Times negative 2 is a negative 6. Times negative 2 is going to give me a 12. Plus 2 gives me a 14. What this means is f at negative 2 is 14. And you're done. So how do I check that on the graphing calculator? Well, on the graphing calculator, you are literally just going to have parenthesis negative 2 raised to the 6th power minus 4 at minus 4 raised to the negative 2 raised to the 4th power. Then plus 3 parenthesis negative 2 raised to the 2nd power plus 2, and hit enter, and it gives you 14. So we've proven that that is the correct answer. Okay? That is how you're going to do 9 and 10. So number 13. This is the last set of instructions on this worksheet, and it says use synthetic division to show that x is a solution of the 3rd degree polynomial equation and use the result to factor the polynomial completely. So what that means is that this right here, to show that it is a solution, means that the remainder will be 0. Then it's 3rd degree, so that drops it down to degree 2. Then you can factor what's left to find the other 2 remaining answers. So how do we do this? Okay, so I'm telling you that x equals 2 is a solution. So I put 2 inside the block. Then I'm going to check my powers. 3, 2, 1, 0. I'm not missing any. So 2, negative 15, 27, negative 10. And I'm going to do synthetic division. So I'm going to drop down the 2. 2 times 2 is 4. This gives me negative 11 times 2 gives me negative 22. Plus 27 gives me a 5. Times 2 gives me a 10, and this is 0. If this is not 0, then you made a mistake and you have to redo the problem, because the directions say it's a solution. If it's a solution, it has to be 0 here, which means this is now going to be degree 2. So that's 2x squared minus 11x plus 5, and that thing has to equal 0. So how do I factor that into 2 binomials? Well, I have to do 2x and x. I have to do 5 and 1, but I need to get to an 11, so the 5 has to go over here being multiplied by the 2, and I need them both to be negative. So that means 2x minus 1 is equal to 0, and x minus 5 is equal to 0. So x is equal to 1/2, and x is equal to 5. So I have factored it completely, and I now know all of my roots, and I am good to go, and I am done. So what is my complete factored form? That's going to be x minus 2. Why? Because it was equal to 2, so it's x minus 2. And then it's going to be x minus 1/2, and then x minus 5. That is the complete factored answer, and that is how you are going to do problems 11 through 14. Tonight's homework, looks like I was going to do one more problem for you. I'll do 14 for you. Same thing, put 2/3 here. Look for missing powers, 3, 2, 1, 0. I'm good, so this is 48, negative 80, 41, and negative 6. Now, I need this spot right here to be 0. It has to be 0. If it is not 0, then I messed up. Drop down the 48. 48 divided by 3 times 2. So 48 divided by 3 times 2 is going to be 32. 48 divided by 3 is 16, times 2 is 32. Then you're going to go ahead and add minus 80 to that to give you negative 48. Negative 48 divided by 3 is going to be negative 16 times 2 is going to be negative 32. Plus 41 is going to give you a 9. 9 divided by 3 is 3, plus times 2 is 6 to give you a 0. So I did it right. So now this is going to drop down a degree, and it goes from degree 3 to degree 2. So this is going to be 48x squared minus 48x plus 9 is equal to 0. Now from there, what you have to do is you have to factor this. But before we do that, we're going to look for a GCF. The GCF is going to be a 3, and that's 16x squared minus 16x plus 3 is equal to 0. And we're going to factor this into two binomials. Maybe. 4x and 4x, 1 and 3. Inner gives me 4x, outer gives me 12x to give me the negative 16, and they both have to be negative. So 3 is equal to 0, never. 4x minus 1 is equal to 0, and 4x minus 3 is equal to 0. So x is equal to 1/4, and x is equal to 3/4. So my final answer that it's looking for is going to be x minus 2/3, x minus 1/4, and x minus 3/4. That is the final answer that I'm looking for. And tonight's homework is 2-3 worksheet 1, synthetic division. I've done a ton of problems for you off of your homework tonight. You have about half of it left to do. If you have questions, please ask me.